43 days in a row since last month's record, now 71 cents, less than the all-time high. AAA's national average for regular now at $4.30 per gallon, still $1.15 more than we were paying a year ago. The FAA is just out with a new proposal to try to secure planes and protect pilots. It would require a second barrier to getting into the cockpit. It follows yet another incident involving an unruly passenger, which has happened quite a bit during the pandemic.
Virgin Atlantic Flight 141 took off from London Heathrow but was forced to land before reaching its anticipated destination of Los Angeles International Airport after the passenger attempted to breach the cockpit. The passenger was ultimately stopped from getting into the cockpit by other passengers, and the plane landed at Salt Lake City International Airport where the disruptive passenger was taken into custody. The flight was then refueled and ultimately reached LAX around 7:30 in the evening, about 4 hours behind schedule. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Breaking news moments ago from the White House. President Biden has tested negative for COVID. He's been isolated, dealing with a COVID infection since last week. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
WPTV's First Alert Weather on WSTU is brought to you by Sailfish Roofing, 772-263-ROOF. Community roofing company you can trust. Sailfish Roofing. Now here's WPTV's First Alert meteorologist.
Hey there, everyone. Steve Villanueva here as we head into your Wednesday. We're going to start off with a bit of wet weather during the early morning hours along the Treasure Coast. But then once that clears, we're talking a generally dry day, other than a spotty shower or spotty storm here or there, but it will be hazy, hot, and humid. Daytime highs today, lower 90s, easily feeling like the triple digits. And in fact, Thursday, Friday, not much change. Saharan dust, dry air will keep us generally dry, but certainly on the warm side. I'm WPTV First Alert meteorologist Steve Villanueva for WSTU 1450, Martin County's Heritage Station.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
It's time now for the Casey Ingram Show on WSTU. The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time to call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788, 220-WSTU. And now, here's Casey Ingram.
Good morning, Treasure Coast. We are back on another wonderful Wednesday here in Martin County. We're airing right here from the studios right off the St. Lucie River in Stewart. And my guest this morning is from our last candidate with the Village of Indiantown, Angelina Perez. And our traffic is getting so crazy. She's stuck in traffic, so she's going to be joining us by phone instead of here in the studio as planned. But we're still going to be able to chat with her. And also, I will be watching Facebook comments. If you have any questions or comments for Angelina, certainly can pass those on. But before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody that you can sign up at thecaseyingram.show.com. I send out an email every week just letting you know who the guest will be in the studio this week. So it gives you an idea if it's a show you're interested in and maybe prepare some questions or comments for it. And again, you can do that at thecaseyingram.show.com. Also want to remind everybody it is hurricane season. And so far we're fortunate, but once a hurricane is named, it's just about impossible to be able to find a place in this town to store your boat and have safe hurricane harborage. I can't recommend more. Indiantown Marina, it is one of South Florida's best boat storage facilities, and it's located inland on the Okeechobee Waterway. Very, very well protected hurricane hull. And while you're there, it's a do-it-yourself and full-service boat yard, so you can have all kinds of work done on your boat. Give the good folks out at Indiantown Marina a call at 772-631-3272, 631-3272. Also, the best kept secret in Martin County is down in the pocket in Port Salerno. It's the Fish House Art Center. They're doing some renovations, but they're still open, and there's a lot of fun things to do out there. You can look them up online before you head out, thefishhouseartcenter.com. But they have a marina. You can dock out there. Also, you can rent paddle boards. You can rent bikes. Enjoy the boardwalk. There's an art gallery, craft and creamery, craft beers, wine, 24 flavors of ice cream, literally something for the entire family. So again, that's the Fish Fish House Art Center right there in the pocket in Port Salerno. You can't miss it. And finally, with COVID and unexpected expenses, illnesses, there are many issues that can cause your successful business to slump deep into the red. We are here to help, and we only get paid if we provide you a workout. Debt restructuring is complicated. We are the negotiator between you and your creditors. Commercial Mortgage has been in the industry of small balance corporate finance since 2003. Our focus is on challenging corporate foreclosures, debt restructures, equity, and new debt solutions. These issues are often not easy to see or understand when you run a business and are faced with multifaceted challenges that include legal action on various fronts. That's where we come in. We never charge a front fee or deposit, and we are only paid if we successfully provide you a debt workout. Areas of expertise include hotels, marinas, office buildings, restaurants, apartments, multifamily, condos, golf courses, home builders, land development, including new and repurposed developments. Call Commercial Mortgage LLC at 772-872-6099, 772-872-6099, or visit them online, commercialmortgagellc.com. So now on the line, Angelina, I want to make sure you're there. Angelina, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Welcome.
Can you guys hear me?
we sure can, and hear you just fine, and glad you were able to call in. I know traffic is crazy here in Martin County, so at least we have phones that we can communicate. But before we get into the show, I want to let everybody know, Talk About Martin released a post over the last evening, and reported that Anthony Dowling is running on expired plates and a driver's license, and a driver's license that's suspended, and they just found this out and broke the news. And they just wanted you to know these candidate interviews and who you vote for in Indiantown, it's super important. You know, Indiantown has about a $4 million budget, and you have somebody that's not able to keep their plates and their driver's license current. So they just kind of wanted you to be aware of that. And I think Talk About Martin has that shared on their page, and I can share it on my page later on. And also want to let folks know these interviews are really important. It gives you an opportunity to know the candidate a little bit better. And I found it interesting. All candidates in Indiantown were invited, and the only incumbent that accepted the invitation was Susan Gibbs Thomas. And she was proud to come on this show and talk about her record and her accomplishments as a council member. So today we have Angelina Perez, and she is a longtime resident of Indiantown. Angelina is married to the love of her life and has 2 children. On any day, you may find Angelina on the soccer fields at Big Mound Park or volunteering her time at the schools and in the community. She loves spending time with her family, her twin sister, and nieces and nephews. Angelina enjoys meeting new people with a deep passion for helping others. Angelina has pledged to listen to you, the residents. Angelina's favorite saying is, "If I can help you in any way, I will help you." Angelina, welcome to the show. You are running against the incumbent mayor, Jackie Clark, and just let's start out a little bit. Why are you running, and what brought you to this decision to say, I want to represent the people of Indiantown?
Yes. I decided to run because I've seen, I live in Indiantown. So, I had residents come up to me. Well, they're not answering me. I called or emailed. Nobody's responding back to me. And, and I'm an active member of the community, so I see what happens. Okay, I know it's a lot of work doing this and that. Everybody has a life. But, I decided, what better way to do it than represent, the village of where you live. And that's why I decided to run.
It's a lot of work to put yourself out there as a candidate, so I congratulate you on that, and I wish you a lot of luck. And I'm sure you're learning a lot of things along the way for your first run here.
Yes, it's a learning process. I am an active member, but I didn't realize, what it takes to run a campaign.
Right.
It's a lot. You learn in the process. And I like learning. I want to learn. I want to see what I can do that suits the village of Indiantown.
Angelina, what brought you to Indiantown?
Okay, so that's a question that I ask everybody. So my parents were migrant farm workers. They would, wherever they were season was in, they would travel to north, up north or down south. So I asked my dad, "Hey, Daddy, why did you choose Indiantown?" He's like, "Because I saw that it was small, and a lot of our friends just, hey, said, come to Indiantown." So it was either going to be Indiantown or Immokalee. And I told my dad, "Thank you for choosing Indiantown." He's like, I know that I needed to, make a home for you guys, because me and my twin sister, and I knew that Indiantown was going to be the best place to raise you guys. And it is. You know, that's what I tell my kids. Baby, go away to college, come back, and invest back into your town. This is a place where we live.
And on that, you're answering this a little bit more, but let's delve in a little bit more. Obviously, you have a deep passion for Indiantown. What do you love? What kinds of things are in Indiantown that really you love and draw you and keep you here?
The kiddos, the kids. Me and my husband were able to form our own soccer club back in 2018. There wasn't anything here for the sports-wise. So my husband and I decided, you know what, let's do something for the kids. You know, let's invest our time for the kids. So, you know, I'm a big advocate for the kids and the teachers. We wanted to make sure that there was a sport for the kids to do in Indiantown. And that's why, you know, I'm here. I'm still here. I'm going to be here.
That's really interesting because it's so important for kids to have something to do after school and something to do in their community. And, you know, you chose soccer, which is a team event as well. Why that sport out of all the sports you could have chosen to promote?
Well, because my husband had knowledge in soccer, you know, because it's very hard to make a sport happen if you have no knowledge. So he used to play soccer as a kid, and, you know, he grew up playing soccer. So we knew, okay, if he knows what he's doing, then we can make it happen, you know. And then we got other parents involved, and then that's how we started it. We knew that we wanted something for the kids to do in Indiantown, and to represent Indiantown.
That's really awesome, Angelina. I mean, I think that the kids probably had so much fun to have something fun like that to do during, after school hours or during the summer whenever you hold the soccer. So that's a really neat thing. How did you fund that program?
Okay, so this is a long story, but so back in 2018, we met with a gentleman from Martin United. He was the club president. He told me, you have 1 year, and you're year. So basically, he pushed me, he motivated me. Okay, so then I got with ICAA, and I got with them and said, hey, can we make this possible for the kids of Indiantown? And they're like, yes, let's make it possible. So with the help with ICAA, we were able to form Indiantown Warrior Soccer Club.
That's awesome. And, you know, this goes to show, Angelina, that you have experience and understand how to reach out to other groups and other entities to make things, you know, make people come together and make projects happen and make things work. So that's a really great example of your wonderful community involvement. What else do you love about Indiantown? I'm sure there's so much out there. For those of us that are, you know, I'm here in Stewart and over here on the East Coast a little bit more. What else is in Indiantown? If you were to tell us why we need to come there, what are the great things about Indiantown?
I would say our residents. Everybody's so friendly. You know, we grew up, everybody knew who you were, they took care of you, your kids, hey, how's your day going? Or, oh, I seen your kid here down the street. Do you know he was down here? I'm like, okay, thank you for watching out. We were so welcoming and so friendly. Indiantown, we got to know everybody. Oh, this is your neighbor. Oh, this is so-and-so's kid. We're united.
So I love to hear that, Angelina, and that was always my impression of it. I will say that, some of the current council members have brought up discrimination a lot. Is that something that you have found in the community, that there's been a lot of discrimination?
Yes, I've seen that at some point that there is a division that wasn't there before. Everybody was together. It didn't matter who you were. We made it happen. We put it together. We worked together and made it possible. But now it seems like, okay, no, they don't want to work with you. Or they don't want to make it happen. And it shouldn't be like that. We should be able to work together regardless of whatever we do, or not agree on what we're doing, but still we need to work together. There was a unity before. What happened to it?
It's so important, Angelina, especially for the leaders of the community, to lead by example and to lead with that unity. And even though the village of Indiantown was incorporated in 2018, it didn't have essentially a council. It definitely had leadership in the community, and that leadership brought together that unity you experienced. And it's interesting to see what different leadership that promotes divisiveness, how it's trickled down through the community so quickly. So I think it's wonderful that you're bringing a platform to bring back that community. And it's a community where, I was kind of looking at what the community is made up of in bestneighborhood.org. 60% of the community's Hispanic, 21% white, 17% black, and very minor 0.3% Asian and 0.9% other. So it's definitely a diverse community. With the majority by far being Hispanic, are you bilingual?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Well, I know just a very little Spanish, like cerveza and baña, okay? So, but I would like you to reach out and just say something to your fellow residents and hopefully your potential constituents that are Spanish-speaking.
Okay. Hola, mi nombre es Angelina. Les quiero recordar que voten el día 23 de agosto para la elección política de Indiantown. Si tienen preguntas, me pueden llamar o mandarme un mensaje al 772-521-3724. Gracias.
I heard the gracias. I can say de nada. It sounded wonderful, Angelina. And I think it's super important in a diverse community and I think that's a huge asset you're bringing, that you're bilingual. So thank you for sharing that with us and with the listeners. You talked about you have some kids, a couple kids, I believe, right?
Yes, I have 2 boys.
2 boys.
Yes.
Do you want this, and you touched on it, but how would you like to see Indiantown, where it's a community where they can come back and live, work, and raise their own families?
Like I tell my kids, like I told my oldest, I told him he already told me, Mom, I don't want to go to college, but I want to do a trade. I said, okay, baby, we'll support you. So, he wants to do HVAC. There's always a need for HVAC.
Absolutely.
So I told him, it's like, okay. He's like, but I want to open my business here in Indiantown. He's like, this is my home. This is where I want to, build my life. I'm like, okay. So, that's something that, I want for, the future residents or, our current residents to know that they're welcome and that they're able to have, have their business here and to make it happen. That's his vision. He's like, Mom, I want to come back. And it surprises me because, Mom and Dad are so involved. For him to say, okay, I'm coming back, I'm going to stay here is amazing because some kids, once they're done, like, okay, I'm off to college, they don't come back. They're gone. It's
right.
I'm happy that he's decided to stay, and for Indiantown to be more welcoming, okay, yes, let's make it happen.
You want new businesses like that to start because as he grows, he employs other people, and it's a wonderful thing for Indiantown. And as you said, HVAC, we all love our air conditioning here in South Florida, so there will always be a need for that trade. And, there's something very exciting that just was announced in Indiantown a couple weeks ago, and you know what I'm talking about, right? The charter school.
The new Indiantown High School. It's so exciting, for that to happen here. How many kids, like I tell everybody, not every kid is destined to go to college, and let's give them an option, give them advice on how, trade. Some kids are going to go to trade, and, let's get them educated on that.
It's huge. Trades are huge, and they can make a lot of money. And like you said, your son comes back. He's just one example of many different trades that are out there. Indiantown Marina there, one of your local businesses, they certainly will employ marine mechanics. Yes. So there's just a lot of different trades that are always needed. Electricians and, well, hey, how about, plumbing, right?
Yes, you're always going to need one.
You do, and you've got the infrastructure issues there in Indiantown that have to do with piping and the water plant, the utility plant.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are some of your goals for Indiantown?
My goal? To make sure that the residents are aware of what's happening, for them to be welcome, to still know, okay, if they have a concern, they can reach us, either by phone, by text, or, informing them of what is happening within the village of Indiantown. Because you do feel that some residents don't know, what's happening, or, especially, like you said, we're a diverse community. How do we know that they know what's happening? They might not know, but some might do. Some kids, like my parents, they don't read English, or I explain to them, hey, this is what's happening, and this is what we're doing. But that's just me. But can you imagine how many other households don't know what's happening?
That's right.
Inform our residents, whether, they speak English, they don't, Creole, whatever, they need to know what's happening.
That's extremely important, extremely important. What about things in the park systems like shade?
Yes. So I run the soccer program. So our fields have not been upgraded. There is holes. There's, they keep telling me it's gonna take time. So I'm easy to work with. So we do what we can because we try to have a safe place for the kids to play. So yes, I had said that why can't we get shaded on the playground at Post Family Park? You can't. There's kids sliding down the slide at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's really hot.
It is.
We don't have shade for our parks here in Indiantown.
For those listeners that aren't here in South Florida, believe me, that shade is it
helps.
It's become necessary. It helps a lot. She's absolutely right.
Yes.
The children can get burned on the slides and the swings.
Yes.
It gets incredibly hot. Again, we're speaking with Angelina Perez. She is running for Indiantown Village Council against incumbent Jackie Clark, and certainly can tell your love for the community, Angelina. And with that, the current council is talking about a few different things, but I'm going to talk about one project in particular. There was a project. It was the Booker Park Drainage System, and it's a road improvement project. And when they were working on this drainage project, it affected about 31 vacant lots. It was an unintended consequence, but on those 31 vacant lots, the residents are not able to access their vacant lots anymore because of this drainage project that change the way the water flows through the area. And to correct that, it's about $62,000. And I'm going to play your opponent, Jackie Clark, what she said she would do about this. And then I would like to go to you and see what you would like to do about that. Evan, can you play that clip?
So my thing, you go and put these there, and then they decide to build, and then they're going to tear up all that concrete or the rock that we done put there. I'm just saying, I would rather put the money in the fixer-upper program. But, it's up to the pleasure of the council. I'm just one person, I'm just one person.
So that was Mayor Jackie Clark. For these folks who, to no fault of their own and had nothing to do with it, can't access their property, she would rather, instead of repairing their driveways, she would rather take money and put it into fixer-upper projects. What would you do for these 31 folks, Angelina?
I would have fixed it. We're that's their home. We can't just leave it have is and then something happens. No, it's their property. You should be able to, if we're going to do some repairs, fix it all the way and not just leave it, oh no, because we're going to come back to you. No, it's repair it. Fix what you need to do.
It changed the access to their property to no fault of their own. So
yeah, it's their home. It's okay. It's like me. I'm going to go tell my husband, hey, you know what? They're going to dig up our backyard because they need to put a septic tank or whatever, a new pipe in there. But they're just going to leave it like that. But they're not going to back in fixing it, babe. They're just going to leave it like that. Obviously, he's going to say they need to fix it because they did it,
Right. Appreciate that. Here's another issue that you guys are facing out there, and it's the City Hall. Neither the City of Okeechobee nor Stewart provide private office space for their elected officials. Indiantown has about 6,600 population, Okeechobee 5,300, and Stewart 17,000 people. Yet the village council right now, while they're saying they're reaching out to the public for comment, they're reaching out with 3 different options. There is no option for this village hall, and it's going to be a very, very expensive village hall that they're proposing out there. Private office space, private restroom for the village manager, meeting chambers, a cafe. Each office has 12 by 14 private office for the mayor and an assistant for 10 by 10 assistant office. What do you think about this village hall, Angelina?
At the time right now, I don't think we need a village hall. It's going to cost so much to do. They say to propose it at say 18, 20, but at the end of the day, is it going to be within that budget? Is it going to go over? How they're fine at what they're at right now. They are at the old at the Indiantown nonprofit building. No, it's like let's wait to see if we really do need a village hall.
There's a lot of things to spend money on right now, and as you said, it's they're talking it's close to $20 million for this. It's 22,000 square feet Village Hall, and when you have something that works right now for the village, and you have the water plant issues, you have infrastructure issues that to take care of it. I think trying to prioritize projects might be an important thing for the council. Do you agree?
Yes. The water, the parks, there's holes in the park, ants, they don't even have a person to line these fields. So my husband's out there in August, and we'll line the fields before our first game, and he'll line it because, we have to play the games, and we have to make sure that the lines are filled and the goals are set up to the appropriate level of play. But, there's not even that to do, but we don't mind because we want the kids to play sports. So we're going to make it happen.
Well, Angelina Perez, I wish you all the luck. She's running for Indiantown Village Council against the incumbent Jackie Clark. Really was a pleasure to meet you here today. I can tell you're super passionate about Indiantown, and you're certainly really involved. I mean, to start the soccer teams out there, I think is absolutely wonderful. Next, we're going to have Stacey Hetherington in, and she's running re-election for Martin County Commission. Thank you, Angelina Perez.
Thank you.
Appreciate you calling in. Good luck out there.